What's happening, YouTube? And welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. And what some might say is a long-awaited upload, because everyone seems to like the car content on my channel, and I promised some time ago that we would do a review of my new car. Now, it has taken a little bit longer than I wanted it. We are back, and we are going to do a review and a kind of how I drive 2020 edition, because yes, of course there are similarities to how I drive and always will drive, but from the last video that you've seen on my channel about how I drive to now, the car, I'm just looking around, the car has had, well, the car that I can get has had some upgrades that the last one didn't, which has made some changes to some of the old adaptions and way that they do it, and also added extras that have made my life, and I assume other people with disabilities similar to myself, have made driving easier, that I couldn't get back then on the car that was through Compatibility. So, without further ado, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to go through and show you how I drive and what I like, and the changes, the little changes that are in this 2019 Seat Leon Excellence. The first change, that isn't a massive one, is slightly different, is the way that they do the footplate. Now, in the old video, if you've seen it, they had a small footplate that covered the brake, and you would bolt that in and you could remove it, and then the accelerator pedal would go up into the footwell, so away from my foot. And then if my dad or anyone else who's insured, who's an able-bodied driver, wanted to drive it, you would unbolt the footplate and push down the pedal, the accelerator pedal, and then they could drive it using their feet. This one, however, is just an extended plate that is fixed at the bottom into like a built-in plate on the floor that you don't move, and then there is a release catch hole that you pull up and remove it. Now, I haven't actually had to do that yet, and as I'm looking at it just to make sure that I'm getting it right, I haven't actually had to do that because, yeah, there hasn't been an opportunity or a need for anyone else to drive my car. And that covers both pedals, so they are, the accelerator pedal is down, the brake pedal is down, the plate now covers both pedals. And yeah, that's different, because now there isn't a place for me to put my right foot very comfortably. And then if anyone has cerebral palsy similar to mine, when I'm driving, or basically whenever I'm doing anything, I can't and don't really have control of how my feet move. So without even thinking about it, my foot moves into the gap that was once there. Now, it used to happen in the old one, but because there was a bigger gap, it wasn't as bad. And on the odd occasion where my foot gets proper rammed in this gap, yeah, it gets proper stuck. So that is a down point. And also a shot that I'm going to put in of the plate, that they have this sort of grip tape on the base of it. Also, it's a good idea in theory and it does work, but the way that my right leg positions and the way that the force of however I'm moving or having to rest my foot has pulled up the tape, and it's ripping. So that wasn't really very well tested on people with my form of cerebral palsy, because the amount of like pressure and strength and movement we have, even though we don't have control over it, can proper just wreck any kind of form of something that's trying to stop that from happening, clearly. The next thing that is an upgrade in this model to the last model that I had back in 2016 is that this model has automatic headlights, high beam. So you can just set that on and not have to think about it. In night times, if it doesn't see any cars around and it's not well lit, it just comes on, and it's a game changer. The whole time I've been driving up until this point, unless I've had somebody there to be able to flick it on and off quickly for me, I've had to drive without high beam, which obviously is doable because I've done it, but being able just to flick a switch and then it do it automatically, and then notice when lights or another vehicle is coming towards you and just turn off, game changer, absolute game changer. So in future, hopefully that will continue to be something that is on cars that I can take advantage of, because I don't think that I would enjoy driving a car at night without having that facility on it. So that is something that I like. One downside about it though is that you set it up, if for some reason it either thinks that the screen is dirty or the sensor is dirty, wherever it is on the screen, it will disable it while you're driving. So it'll be working 1 minute and then say, oh, the screen's too dirty for this to work, and it just disables it. You can then obviously clean your window wipers, clean your screen with your window wipers, and it will work again, but you have to set it up again. So you have to push down on the left stalk, and then a little automatic symbol comes up in there. Another thing that I absolutely love is the fact that on this model, even though it was something that I could have had on the old Leon, it actually is set up to work with this model straight away. I don't have to go and pay extra money to have it. Is that I've got full link compatibility with my phone and my car. I can plug my phone in to my car, and then anything that is on my phone comes up on my screen. Say, okay Google, and it will make a phone call if I ask it to. I can have WhatsApp messages or text messages read to me, and then I can reply. Also, if I want to use it, I can use Google Maps instead of the built-in SatNav, depending on which one's easier. The only thing is that it has to be plugged in for it to work. It doesn't work without a cable, and the first cable that they gave me was a dud, so I thought that it wasn't set up for it, but I used a different cable and it works. And if anyone sends me a text like they used to in my old car, I can actually have it read to me and reply, whereas before I couldn't do that. I couldn't get it to speak it to me through Bluetooth. It didn't like doing that because you could set it up, that's where I was going. Like, I couldn't do it through the standard Bluetooth connection. It wouldn't read the message and let me reply. But with this, it reads the message to me, asks me if I want to reply, and then I can, without having to make a phone call, have a conversation safely in my car while I'm on the move, and not have to worry about what someone's saying or the fact that I'm stuck in traffic. I have had occasions where it drops. It's plugged in and it's doing stuff, and then it just decides to keep rebooting. I don't know whether that's a signal thing or whether it's something to do with whatever the weather's doing, but it kind of drops and then comes back in, turns itself on and off again. I'm not really sure why that happens, but on occasion that does. There is wireless charging as well for my phone, but if you're using the full link, you have to have it plugged in, so the wireless charging doesn't work. It's a nice little touch. I've used it once or twice. I haven't really gone on that many long journeys, so it doesn't really charge up that quickly, whereas if you just plug it into a wire, it charges up quite fast while you're using it. Just keep it out of sunlight and not let it get too hot, otherwise. Another upgrade that I do enjoy when I use it is the fact that you have a heads up display and you can have the SatNav right in front of you, which is awesome. I mean, it doesn't really bother me if it's over here on the screen, but just to be able to look and see, and you can see what's going on, whether there's going to be traffic jams or speed cameras, or the SatNav's going to redirect you. You can see it straight away as soon as it's done, right in front of you, without having to like quickly look over here. If you have your phone plugged in, that disables that function, so you can't have the heads-up display of the SatNav when your phone is plugged into the full link. Again, it's personal preference. If you want the heads-up display and you don't want to use your phone in full link, then you can have that. But a SatNav is a SatNav, isn't it really? It's just a nice little touch to have every now and again, and to be easy, just to not have to have your eyes wandering. You can just look and it is there, and you can change the view, as you may have seen in one of the videos when I was picking this car up, so you can have it like completely full, or you can have a small map and it just moves. It's whatever personal preference you have. The gearbox is outstanding. The best automatic gearbox I've had since I've been driving is these DSG gearboxes, because there's no lag, there's no struggle to get up to speed or get into gear and all of that like I've had in my previous cars. It just runs smooth and I love it. There's no struggle, it's just easy. Put your foot down and it jumps through the gears nicely. There's no trouble there. There's nothing that I can say bad about that, to be honest. The hand controls are still the same, with the little indicator switch, the push-pull stuff, that's all still the same. Ball on the steering wheel, everything. It's just the little bits, the little touches that I love. The one thing I still don't like is the fact that you turn the engine on, and to turn off the auto stop you have to do that manually, and if you leave it on, when you brake, the steering, when it thinks you've stopped, the steering locks, so you could still be creeping a little bit and the steering's locked, which I don't understand why that happens, and I think it's safer for driving if it's off, so I turn that off. I love the keyless entry and the push button start, and the fact that I can just lock my car and start my car without having to faff about with the keys, because I know that might be a small thing for some people, but when you are in a wheelchair and you don't have any hands free to carry stuff, or because you're using them to get into the car and then drive, it's just little things that I can just have the keys round my neck, and I can just hit my finger on a button and it unlocks. Yeah, I love this car. It's reasonably good on petrol. I always stick it into sports mode, and just when you, sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. That is what happens here. There isn't an eco mode. What happens is, if you're driving at a certain level and the car recognises that you're doing good and you're driving nicely, it trips down into a 2-cylinder mode, and then you're basically in eco mode there automatically. Now, when I first got it, I was like, is that normal? Should that be happening? Because in the old one, there is a button where you can turn that on or off. So for the first couple of months, I was searching for the section where there was a sports mode, standard mode, and this eco mode, and I wanted to turn the eco mode off, but it's automatic, so the car just knows and will trip you into 2-cylinder mode and help you drive economically automatically. You can't, as far as I know from talking to the dealer, you can't turn that off. It just does it. And to be honest, it's really quite good, because then you're obviously saving a little bit and you're driving well for the environment. So yeah, and then obviously when you aren't, it takes you out of that mode and you go straight back into standard driving mode or sport mode, which is what I use. Today and other times has made me jump is the fact that it can tell, because I've got front and rear sensors, when a car in front is too close or you need to stop, and it will beep at you in an aggressive manner and tell you that you're too close and you need to stop. So that's cool. Sometimes I don't understand why it's doing it, because I'm nowhere near anything in front or behind. I don't know whether like a leaf or something trips the sensor, but it comes up on the dash telling me that I'm close to something when I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm the only thing on the road. I would recommend getting one of these cars. The value for money is ridiculous. What you get for this in this car for the money on mobility, if it suits your needs, is by far and away the best car. In my opinion, this is the best car that is on Motability, and it is the best car that I could have got for the way I like to use it, for the way I like a car to look, and for my driving style and all of the tech and stuff. I love it. I would recommend anyone getting any Seat Leon. They have cars across all ranges, so just go to a Seat dealer and find the car that is right for you, because at the moment, in my humble opinion, they are doing the best fleet of cars on Motability that you can get. It's just a nice place to be, and in the winter it's got heated leather seats. When they are needed, they are very welcomed. If you've enjoyed this video of me rambling on about what I love about my car, please hit the like and subscribe, and let me know what other car content you would like to see, and I will make that happen. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.